I was sipping coffee in the lawyer's office when the door creaked open, and there he was, the man who had thrown me away, my father. His smile looked forced, practiced, the kind people wear when they want something. "You've grown into a fine young woman," he said, like we were old friends catching up, not strangers tied together by blood and betrayal. I stayed quiet. Silence can be louder than words, and people tend to spill more when they think you're weak. I was 8 when he told me I was worthless. His words cut like glass. "A girl is a burden," he spat, while my mother stared at the floor like she wasn't even there. That was the last time I saw them together. That was the day they signed the adoption papers and left me in a stranger's house. But that stranger? He became my real father. He raised me with discipline, respect, and patience. And when cancer took him, he left me everything, his empire, his legacy. Not because I was his blood, but because I was his choice. My biological father didn't show up at the funeral. He showed up later, when my inheritance made headlines. Suddenly, the daughter he abandoned was worth his time. At first, he played the role well, the regretful father, haunted by his past mistakes. He laid flowers at the grave. He shed tears in front of reporters. He told anyone who would listen that he wanted another chance. But I knew the truth. It began with whispers, rumors about whether I could handle such a fortune. Anonymous doubts dropped into boardrooms. Old classmates suddenly appeared with fake debts that traced back to him. He wasn't here to rebuild, he was here to invade. And I let him, because you can't bring down an enemy's empire until you've studied every crack in its walls. I studied him the way he never studied me. His new business was drowning in debt. His associates were sharks, circling and waiting for the first drop of blood. His once powerful name was now rotting under lies and broken promises. He didn't come back for me. He came back to use me, my money, my name, my reputation, so I gave him just enough rope to hang himself. I brought him into my world, dinners at my penthouse, a seat beside me at charity galas. The cameras loved it, the picture-perfect story of a father and daughter reunited, and I let that story spread. Behind closed doors, I slipped contracts under his hand that looked like gifts, partnerships that looked like trust. Each one tied his failing businesses to me. The terms were mine. I was the lender. He was the borrower, and he never even noticed. By the time he figured it out, it was already over. He stormed into my office, his face flushed, hands trembling. "You tricked me," he hissed. I stayed seated, calm as stone. "No," I said. "I only gave you exactly what you asked for. You wanted access to my fortune. Now you have it, but you forgot one thing." I slid the contracts across the desk, each one stamped and sealed. Access isn't the same as ownership. His eyes darted over the pages. First came confusion, then disbelief, and finally, pure horror. Every deal he signed under my name now belonged to me. Every asset he touched was collateral I controlled. He hadn't conquered me. He had walked straight into my trap. The final strike came quickly. The press, the same reporters he once charmed, turned on him. Headlines screamed his downfall: fraud, exploitation, embezzlement. His smiling photos now sat under words that destroyed him, and I didn't even have to move a finger. He buried himself. I just handed him the shovel. The last time I saw him, he wasn't dressed in a suit, and there was no smug smile. He was slumped in a chair across from me, smaller, weaker, nothing like the man I once feared. "You ruined me," he whispered. I leaned forward and met his hollow eyes. "No," I said softly. "You ruined me when I was 8 years old. All I did was return the favor." He had no answer, no fight left, nothing. Now the empire is mine, the fortune secure, his name erased. And when people ask if I regret not forgiving him, I just laugh under my breath. Forgiveness is something you give equals. He was never my equal. At 8, he taught me I was worthless. At 28, I taught him just how much I was worth, and I made sure he would never, ever forget it.